Hey everyone, and welcome to another figurine review. Today I'm going to be looking at another Pop-Up Parade figure, and this one is the Ryoko Matoi from Kill la Kill. The first figure was Mako, and I think that kicked off all of my figurine reviews, if I remember correctly. So yeah, this is a little interesting. So yeah, it's been a while since they've done another Kill la Kill figure. They've done the Gurren Lagann figures, which I know it's technically not Gainax, but it is the same artist, and you know, they're very, very similar. Anyway, it's been a while since the last Kill la Kill figure. These are, I think, the Blu-ray release covers, like the poses that they've chosen for these figures, which means hopefully we'll get a really cool Satsuki later on. But the first one was Mako doing a pretty iconic pose, and this one is Ryoko looking very, very cool. So I think it's about time we open it up. Alright, and here's Ryoko taken out of the box and all set up. Now she comes in a couple pieces, because there's the base, the figure, and the scissor blade. The scissor blade actually detaches partway through and you can slot it in, which is kind of cool. You can technically display the scissor blade in a different way if you want, but it wouldn't look as right, which is a bit of a shame because on this side that you're meant to view it from, it's a flat blade, but on the other side, it's got more depth to it and things like that. So it's a little bit of a shame that you lose that, but you know, it's all right. But as you can see, she's very striking, looks very cool, simple but dynamic, and it's a pose that is one of the Blu-ray covers, I believe. And you can see how the wind's sort of blowing her hair, blowing Senketsu, and also this sort of like tattered effect on the uniform. Looks very nice and very cool. It's definitely captured that sort of signature Trigger style. Her shoes are nice, bright and white and well detailed. Unfortunately, some of the detail is lost because of how bright they are. But the paint applications so far look really nice. Her glove looks fantastic. The sword looks amazing. These little lines on the shirt look good. Senketsu's eyes look good. Nice little details of the character. She's got a closed fist. Doesn't really need to be anything beyond that. Yeah, there's no real issues that I'm seeing. Let me just get a little closer. There is a gradient in her hair. I don't know if that's visible. That's not really the light. There's like a thin, lighter blue ring all around her hair. Unfortunately, that's a little bit inconsistent. It is a nice little effect, but some of the hair up top looks kind of funky. And the signature red through her hair is also a little bit mispainted. A little bit splotchy. Thankfully, from the main viewing angle, it looks fine. Her face looks really good. Her eyes look fantastic. Let me see if we can get a much closer look in there. And yeah, her gaze just looks fantastic. Can you just take it off camera for one sec? Now, I couldn't see it on camera, so I picked it up. Just to have a better look at it, but they have detailed the sort of gear-like design of her eye, or eyes, but I can't see the other eye, but they've really captured that design, which is really hard to get right, especially on something that's this small. I mean, like, there's my finger for comparison's sake. So yeah, it's really nice that they put that detail in. It's one of those things where I don't know if it's that the Pop-Up Parade line is getting better, or just some have more attention than others, where the faces and eyes and things like that look fantastic, because a lot of the earlier ones, and some of the ones now, don't really look like the character they're meant to. But thankfully, this Ryoko looks amazing. And proportionally fantastic, looks great. The only thing, again, it's those Pop-Up Parade bases. I'm still not a huge fan of the hexagon and the color choices they choose for them. Like, red suits Ryoko, thankfully, but they could have done like black with red stripes. Well, not red stripes, but red threads through it and things like that. But like, it's a little bit of a missed opportunity. I'm not as peeved about them as I used to be. Call it Stockholm Syndrome or what have you, but yeah, they don't bother me as much. I'm still not a fan of them, but I've sort of grown to accept them. And I have also realized that they would be great to customize, because they're flat, simple shapes and things like that, so you can get a lot done with them. And assuming we are going to get another figure in the line, at least one more figure in the line, because it'd be weird not to have Satsuki, let's compare the two together. So the Mako still looking great as ever. It still has paint issues, but it still doesn't really bother me as much anymore. One of the annoying things is if I'm putting them sort of mainly together, they don't match that well. I think it's mainly the base thing, because like in terms of Blu-ray cover thing, yeah, that suits them perfectly fine, but it's just the bases sort of break it up, which is a bit of a shame. I do like the more rounded look of Mako, whereas the more serious look of Ryoko, it's much more striking. And I do like that they are perfectly set up so the blade doesn't get in the way of anything. So that's really nice. Because I thought it was a little bit fortuitous that I started talking about pop-up parade differences and how the early pop-up parades didn't look as good as the later pop-up parades. I've got to stop saying pop-up parade, it's a mouthful. Anyway, I think Mako was right on the cusp of when they started looking like the characters that they should, because sort of anything before them either looked out of scale or their faces were a bit odd and things like that, but Mako really changed things. And while there haven't been great ones after Mako, a majority of them tend to be a lot more better detailed and look more like who they should. So I think that she's sort of been the icon or the standard that you compare all other pop-up parades to, and Ryoko is a good one to add to that collection. Yeah, it's just the piss yellow base on Mako is still not great. But yeah, look, the Ryoko is great. I know that the Mako is a bit hard to find now, so hopefully they'll do a rerun when all of them are out, because surely they'll do more. And Pop-Up Parade has been pretty good on re-releases lately. Weirdly enough, they have just started doing the 1.5 figures, which they did for the Quintessential Quintuplets one, which again, it's fortuitous that I was talking about early Pop-Up Parades, because I didn't get any of the Quintuplets ones because I didn't think they looked right. And evidently Good Smile didn't think so either, because they're doing the 1.5s that have better detail on their clothes, similar poses to the original ones, but all of the faces have been completely redone, all the faces, all the hair. The eyes are better detailed because the eyes looked crap before. The faces are rounder, there's much more detail and colour in them. And it's also funny because they almost look like they're designed off of the Corful prize figures, but don't look quite as good as those, so that's kind of funny. But yeah, there's definitely something going on in Pop-Up Parade, and if they don't do re-releases, then they'll do 1.5s. I don't think that Mako needs a 1.5. We just need a re-release for anyone that missed her. But yeah, solid figure overall, and it helps complete the set. And I hope you enjoyed that video, and I'll see you all next time.